Welcome to Abuse Exposed, a podcast about the secret of abuse. Each episode, we deliver intriguing Christian and personal experiences on abuse and how to overcome it. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional mental or medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified mental health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical or mental condition. Now, here's your host, live from Texas, ISpeakMotivate.
Hello. This is ISpeakMotivate, and I am beyond excited to speak with you all today on episode 34. On the Abuse Exposed podcast, we break down those stereotypes and expose the pain of abuse while building a community. Because so often we feel alone, and we don't need to feel like that at all. We need to start to live our best lives and know that there's people that went through similar stories, and we can bond together and grow and learn from each other. Like, we are out here, and the devil, the abuser, some flying monkeys around you will make you feel like you're alone and you're the only person going through this. But you are not. You're more than a conqueror. You're a beautiful person. You're going to thrive. This is just a minor part of your story that you will overcome. Just say every day, I will overcome, I will overcome, I will overcome. Okay? Because you can get through this. Now, episode 34 is going to be about enabling, again, like we talked about the trials of Gabriel Fernandez, where people were having enabling behavior. The police officers intimidating the victim, which enabled the abusers to not only continue the abuse, but to increase the abuse. It has to stop. Okay? Now, the quote of the day is this, and it's from the mamabeareffect.org, so check that out. People ask, how can a person abuse a child? I ask, how can so many, quote unquote, good people not do anything about it? Yes. Let's repeat that again. People ask, how can a person abuse a child? I ask, how can so many good people not do anything about it? Now, this is the thing. There are some times where people enable the abuser because you know why? It's something in it for them. A relationship, they feel insecure. So you know what? Even though this boyfriend molests my child, I'm insecure. I feel lonely. So it's okay if he molests my child or rape my child as long as he stays with me because I'm that insecure. So what am I doing? I'm enabling that behavior. I'm enabling that behavior, which is unacceptable. Which is why abuse continues and sometimes, unfortunately, leads to death. Because we won't stand up and say this is not right. We must stand up when it comes to children. There's so many people that go with the status quo. Scared to lose their jobs. Because they're like, look, this is my livelihood. Now my kids won't be able to eat. Or I won't be able to eat. So I won't speak about abuse at work or abuse with another family member because, I'm going to be ostracized from the family. They're going to excommunicate me from the family barbecue. What's worse? Your family not talking to you again? Or that child being abused every single day, living in a house of horrors? Which is worse? We have to ask that question every single day when we choose to be a bystander, because to me, a bystander is worse than the abuser himself, because they can do something. There's a third party that can do something. You can say, you know what? This is out of hand. This is out of line. And you can, and that's true love, because a lot of times people feel as if you have to compliment a person at all times, or just give them a slap of the wrist, or they will get mad at you, or the other person will think you don't love them. But if you have a family member or a friend or a coworker or a supervisor that's abusive, what do we need to do? We need to say, okay, look, that behavior, cut it off where you see it. That behavior is unacceptable and you need to cut it. You need help. You need therapy. You see physical violence against someone, you call the police and let it be known. My family member, friend, supervisor, what have you, is acting a fool and is hurting someone, putting someone through pain. Step in. Step in. Don't let this be a family secret that Uncle Joe molests the kids. Unacceptable. I don't know how you can sleep at night, honestly, because that would keep me up and I wouldn't be able to survive. I would not be able to survive in life if I knew I hid something like that for that long, and children and my family are being repeatedly abused and I do nothing. That's just me. I would have personal guilt and shame because I'm sleeping somewhere safe and that baby's going through pain. So before you say, oh, I don't want to mess up their life, they have this going on. It could be a son and he's just wild. Okay. Wild, has a girlfriend, and then he beats her. He always had an anger problem, and so he beats her. It shouldn't be, he always had this anger problem and he'll get better. I'll talk to the girl and let her know he doesn't mean it. You know why that's wrong? She is going to stay in that abusive relationship because now you gave her an excuse to stay, and you're making her feel guilty that this is his flaw. That's wrong. That's wrong. Your son has anger problems and you just push him on this young lady without remorse because you don't want your son to be mad at you, or you don't want your son, say he works for a prestigious company, you don't want him to jeopardize that opportunity, so you won't call the police when you hear the screams. You'll tune them out. Because of the relationship, a lot of times we have to, and it's hard. It's hard. It was hard for me. It's hard to get over the relationship barrier of oh, I'm not going to tell on my family. I got my family's back. But when it's wrong, it's wrong. And when somebody's getting hurt, it's hurt. Period. And you're not hurting their future. They're hurting their future by performing those unhealthy actions, whether it's verbal, physical, spiritual, financial, psychological, sexual abuse. It's abuse. They're making a decision saying, I'm going to hurt someone. So guess what? They messed up their own life. You're just making sure they're being held accountable for it. And you know what? They may hate you. And they may never speak to you again. But you know what? You helped save someone that was in pain, and that's all that matters. And you know what? That person that's abusive, they may get the help they need because of the tough love. Maybe they get in programs that they need to be in because they got that tough love. They got the hardest time. So it made them think. It made them get a change of heart. It helped them get resources. But by enabling someone to continue and to cover up for the pain that person caused, you're no better than them. And the thing with me with enabling behavior is very sick to me. Because I just don't understand how people can stand by and see people in pain in front of them and do nothing. That is, it just is something that makes me angry. Because you need to get people help in the beginning. And yes, it is painful to hold someone accountable. You don't want to be in those situations because us as humans, we don't like conflict. We don't at all. So we try to avoid it as much as possible. So the thing is be bold, be strong, and protect. It's hard. But tough love is better than enabling because it's handicapping the abuser and getting the victim deeper into destruction from the abuser. So they get mad at you, curse you out, talk, all type of mess on Facebook. Tell the whole family not to talk to you. Get mad, key your car, whatever the case, whatever it is. At least you did the right thing to protect that child, that woman, that man that was being abused. That's all that matters. Is making sure we have courage to stand up against those that want to hurt other people. So just think about that. Think about that. No matter the relationship, no matter the social status. Oh, I don't want to tell my supervisor. Oh, I don't want to tell on, it's the CEO. That will ruin his whole career. I don't want to be the person to expose and ruin his whole career. The thing is this. He ruined his career by hurting someone else. We should not take personal responsibility for the destruction that the abuser has caused. But again, like I said, us as a community should be mandated reporters of abuse. Because we need to stand together. And that is what needs to happen, period. Because again, like I say, and I'm just going to be blunt. A lot of times we see these stories and then we cry.